Welcome, 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 welcome. What a wonderful opportunity this is for all of us. His Holiness will be here in just a moment, but I wanted to say hello to everyone before he gets here. I think there's a lot of people who've been here for the last few days. Can you raise your hand if you've been here for the teachings over the last 3 days? Yeah, a lot of people here. And a lot of newcomers. Who has not seen His Holiness before? Oh, that's great. New friends. New friends. You know, there's an old Japanese saying that under cherry trees there are no strangers. And I think that's particularly true around His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And especially over the last 3 days of these incredible teachings we've had, I think His Holiness has created a very large cherry tree for us all to be under and realize that we really are brothers and sisters here. It's been an extraordinary time and the opportunity for all of us now to listen to His Holiness and learn how to make a meaningful life, I think is very special for all of us. His Holiness is a very well-known person on the planet at this point, but just a few brief words. His Holiness was born in 1935. And in a time and space very far away from us in the West, but even in his own time and space, it was a farming village very far away from the capital. When he was 2 years old, he was found, and soon after that enthroned as the 14th Dalai Lama. When he was a teenager, the Chinese invaded Tibet in 1949, 1950. His Holiness did the best he could to protect his people and their culture and Buddhism. And by 1959, it became totally untenable, and he escaped into exile with now over 120,000 Tibetans, living now all over the world. He has since won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989. A few years ago, he won the Congressional Gold Medal, which is the highest award that can be given by the people of the United States of America, and was awarded by the President himself. And I think has won probably every other possible award for humanitarian work and spirit and good heart that we can give on this planet. When I was thanking people yesterday for the last few days of teachings, there was one person that I did not thank, and it was horrendous that I didn't. We wouldn't be getting these teachings without the extraordinary interpreter who has been working with us. And Thupten Jinpa has just done the most incredible job over the last decade. He's been a personal friend of mine for, I think, almost 25 years now. But there's no way we could get the depth of these extraordinary teachings without his knowledge of English, and obviously his knowledge of his Tibetan, of His Holiness, and of the deep, deep depth of the teachings, especially on emptiness and shunya. So we really owe almost everything to his interpretations. Now, without further ado, I'd like to bring out one of the great men of our time, a man who's touched all of our hearts, His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
So, last 3 days talks about spirituality and particularly about Buddhism. Now today, my talk purely secular. Sorry. Okay. Again, another work. So I think already delayed. Then furthermore, remain like this. I always happy meeting with people, a public talk. That is, I think, the proper way is it to, to share more people about method how to achieve happy life without touching religion. So that secular way. But at the same time, I always make clear what is the meaning of secularism. You know, my Indian friend, actually one politician and a former Deputy Prime Minister of India. One time, he told me one of the reasons India, since independence, is very successfully carried a democratic sort of practice or democratic system. The reason is the 1,000 years in India, there is a tradition or habit, different views, different concept. So a lot of sort of disagreement, argue, or criticize. But the person who holds that view usually respect. So he made one example, one tradition, spiritual, I think spiritual tradition, they call Charvaka, denying existence of God, or existence of next life, or existence of karma, nothing, just this life, just day-to-day life. So that view, of course, nihilism. The rest of the spiritual tradition criticize that. So that view is nihilistic view, wrong. However, person who holding that view refer rishi. Rishi means sage.
Sage.
Sage. So respect. He mentioned that. So it is very true. The pluralism among different traditions, among pluralism of religion, almost 3,000 years remain that way. So secularism means, according to Indian tradition, respect. All religions, or people who have different views, respect. And then, so secularism means respect all religion, no preference of one particular religion. So one ancient non-believer, atheist, also is referred as a sage and respect. So in modern time, non-believer, we must respect them. They're also human beings. And furthermore, they, out of 6 billion, major portion, essentially non-believer. So firstly, we must respect them, and then also, they also want happy life, equal right. And then the problem, usually, you see people who have no interest about religion, they also see no longer any interest about these inner value, because they felt these are part of religious practice. Yes, in a way, true. All major religion tradition, as I mentioned before, carry practice of love, compassion. These are main practice. So make distinction, believer, non-believer, religious faith only for believer. Non-believer, no religious faith, but they also want happy life. So the practice of, compassion, these things. Oh, where have gone my rosary? Because I shall class has still left. My rosary, I think at the room where, here, let me check. What? Oh, here. Because of feeling of mind. So a little bit because of anxiety. So at that very moment, the feeling of I become a little stronger. Good. So now, basically, I think I already mentioned, you see, today's world, I think basically, generally speaking, people, I think, firstly, I think some trouble because of lack of principle. And then also the people who very much sort of, too much sort of, because of the unhappy sort of mind, that brought frustration transformed violence. So in such sort of period, you see, it is important to make clear the peace of mind or compassionate mind is something very important for building a stable, peaceful society, community, and less sort of problem, less crisis, man-made crisis. And then individuals themselves also, you see, get maximum benefit to this inner peace or, yes, inner peace. So the basis of promotion of, inner value, mainly our common experience and common sense and the latest scientific finding. These three things. I think I mentioned briefly, I think at the beginning of my teaching. So common experience, we all born from our mother. So all the mammals and also birds, even I think the butterfly, I notice some eggs, the mother, of course they never meeting. So, but the way egg put, they all, I think, 20, 30 of them is put together. I noticed many years ago, in early 60s, and the veranda, there are some flowers, and some flower is very receptive, to receive these eggs. So I noticed within, I think, 1 or 2 days, these eggs hatch. Then this poor, helpless, sort of small caterpillar, they live together. And then when some other fly who a little bit danger or who actually eating, then they live, since they live together, so they act together, remain like that. I notice. So then those who say, perpetrator,
predators. Predators.
Then you see a little sort of afraid. Then I also tested when they remain grouped there, my finger go like that. They again do that. So the mother have some kind of sort of sense. If mother's egg is put one here, then lonely. Some danger come, they cannot defend. So put together, some little sense, the minds of those mother butterfly. I noticed that. So therefore, they all sort of, I think most of the animals, even insect, the mother has some kind of sense of the responsibility to survive their offspring. Then, like we, human beings, and those, the mammals, which their survival entirely depend on mother's feeding or mother's help. Biologically, the motivation level or emotional level, some kind of sense of tremendous feeling, the sense of concern of their offspring. That brings their energy to work hard for survival of their offspring. So we belong that, and particularly we survive by mother's milk. And birds also, mainly mother feeding. When I was young in Lhasa, in Potala,
Ventilation.
Ventilation, I think. Ventilation. In Potala building, very high. So usually, yellow, dark, or geese.
Geese.
I think yellow geese. Usually it's nesting there. When the egg hatch, then within, I think, few hours, since these birds, no milk. And you see, these birds, no sort of ability to feeding from distance. Small birds and some other birds, you see, they fly and collect food and feeding, like pigeons. But these birds, I don't know. After only a few hours, you see, the mother is pushing their child from that nest very high. I think
But sometimes 3 stories high.
So then these youngsters, very beautiful, really wonderful, very beautiful, then faint. So that moment, sometimes dogs also come. Sometimes
Eagles.
eagles and crows. Also, you see, as a pickup.
Pick 'em up,
occasion. So then, I asked the concerned sort of sweepers on the particular area, you see, when those youngsters fell down, and then collect and bring to Nobulinga, where some pond there. So we can protect from danger of eagles or these things. So then, when they collected these youngsters, put in basket. From Potala up to Nobulinga, when the sweeper is bringing that basket, the mother almost walking up to Nobulinga, few kilometers. And the father, little distance fly, then wait, and then again fly, wait. But the mother, whole sort of distance used to go like that. And then I noticed when the concerned people brought to me about the basket, then mother shouting, so ready to sacrifice their own life for the sake of their offspring. This not come from religion, not come from constitution or law, but by nature. So we human beings also is like that. Then I often asking people, and expressing or share people, and also some scientists. One time I remember in Oxford, when my talk, some professors, old, very dignified professor in front line. So then I asked one silly question. I asked them, I notice mosquito. You see, when my mood good, then I usually give blood, and provided no malaria danger, then I usually give blood. So then mosquito enjoy blood, and then his or her body. Oh, I heard only her, she, because you see, they need blood in order to reproduce. So looks female mosquito more aggressive. Really, I don't know. In any way, you see, after they sort of enjoy blood, then just fly. No sign of appreciation. So other animal like cat, dogs, or even birds, if you treat them compassionately, warmly, they respond, appreciation. So my question, you see, to those professors, including those professors, you see, what stage brain have the ability to show appreciation? No answer. So maybe in the future, some scientists may carry some sort of research work in any way. So usually, even the animal have the capacity to show affection. and to show sense of concern of their well-being. So we obviously, human being, after our birth, several years, their survival depend on others' care. So that's the way we grown up. And according to scientists, one of my old friend scientist,
Bob Livingston.
Livingston, now no longer. He once told me, after birth, few weeks, simply mothers touch the boy or the child. It's a very important factor for proper enlargement about their brain. So therefore, the affection, compassion really makes big differences. Those children who receive maximum affection at the beginning of their life, their whole life, more happier, and deep inside, I think less sense of insecurity. Those children at the early age, receiving the lack of that kind of compassion, is in their life becoming more difficult. And for study also is make differences. For proper development of the body also make differences. And then most important, the rest of their life becoming more cold, difficult to show affection to others. So those children who receive because of the affection, maximum affection, their whole life, more compassionate. In that case, I myself also quite fortunate. Our mother, a villager, farmer, illiterate, but very, very kind. So we grown up under mother's tremendous affection. So sometimes I used to be telling audience that my mother so kind to me, so that anyway, little bit spoiled me. Reason, in villager, they usually see child put in mother's sort of shoulder, and usually his mother do like that. Then the child feel very happy, like that. So then I usually used to holding my mother's 2 ears. Then I want to go this side, and I do this, and go this side, go like that. Then if mother didn't listen, then cry. So mother sort of the tremendous sort of kindness spoiled me, becoming more aggressive, isn't it? So I often is telling people, certain amount of my compassion here. Of course, later part, training, also makes differences. But original seed come from that time. So we all here, few thousand people here, I think apparently same, but in deep level, those people who receive maximum affection at that time, I think deep inside, much more happier. And those who lacking, I think some different, some traces of that. So that according to our common experience. So sometimes I jokingly telling people, there's some literature, in Buddhist literature, and also I think Hindu literature, mentioned some holy masters born from lotus. So sometimes I jokingly telling them, Oh, then these sort of master may have more closer feeling with lotus rather than a human being. So from that viewpoint, we are quite fortunate. We're born from our mother. So you see, we have the more greater potential to show affection to other human brothers, sisters, like that. Then common experience. No, common sense. We can judge our neighbor or different family. We will see, we can see the family where more compassionate atmosphere there, mother, father, more compassionate, more smile, more laughter, then within that family, much happier, including their pets.
Pets.
Pets, much happier. Other hand, a family where one of the parent always, because of the angry, like that, then the whole atmosphere there more difficult, cold, and the children suffer a lot. And even these pets also then feel, although they cannot speak, but still they have the same sort of experience. Then one family, more compassionate one, the real sense of neighborhood there. And that automatically brings safety. And deep inside this feeling, if I go through some difficulties, I have such a wonderful neighbor, I can ask some help. On the other hand, the neighbor families, poor relations, and suspicion each other, distrust, or sometimes jealousy, or fighting like that, then you feel you live surrounding something like enemy, war zone, almost something like that. So these are, you see, no need education, no need sorority.
Definition.
Definition. Oh yes, where more compassionate atmosphere there, the concerned people much happier. Now I think on the leadership. I think in their mind, distrust, suspicion. So because of that, I think unnecessary sort of the sufferings to concerned people. I think in human history, such things. There are many stories like that. More trust. Because of the trust rate, good relation, even difficult problem can solve through talk. So that save millions of people's life or suffering like that. So on all levels, more compassionate mind brings much happier. Negative mind, anger, fear, distrust, these brings a lot of unnecessary problems. So that is our common sense. Now, the most important latest scientific finding. Now, recently, I think a few decades in the science world, now beginning to pay more attention about emotions, about mind. So then they have found is more compassionate mind their physical health better. And even period of recovering, the peaceful mind, very important factor. One time they mentioned, was it small,
Rodents, no. Rats.
rats, 2 wounded rats. One rat is receiving licking from another rat. Other without that. So then the recovery, the rat which is receiving often licking from another rat, much faster recovering. And then obviously when they examine monkey, monkey baby, some baby with mother, some baby separate from mother. So those monkey, young monkey who with mother, always playful and very happy. Those monkey who separate from their mother, always bad mood and often quarrel. We are same. And then therefore some, or then I think I think many of you already heard one occasion. I think in nearby New York, or some institution, we have some discussion about health. So there, one doctor, one physicist, one sort of
Physician. A medical scientist. Medical scientist.
Medical scientist. In his report, he mentioned those people who often use word of I, me, my, like that. These people, greater chance of heart attack. So he didn't mention reason. Then I got the feeling, oh, that can be true, because word, of course, artificial word, difficult, but genuine sort of expression, then it's a reflection of their mental state, mental sort of
State.
mental state. So those people who often use I, you see, that reflect his or her very thinking, always extreme self-centered. So that kind of attitude remain there. Then the even small sort of problem appears unbearable because your mind focusing very small area, I, just like that. But when thinking about other, then our mind open or wider. So within that, even quite serious of problem about yourself appears not that much so significant. So that makes differences. And also the compassionate heart open our inner door. So through that way, you can easily communicate with others. Through that way, you can bring genuine friendship. A friendship is very important for human society because we are a social animal. So social animal, we have to live group. Without friendship, difficult. How can make friendship? Money, some extent, yes. But mainly compassion, sense of respect others, sense of concern of others' well-being. That's the basis of development of friendship. Friendship entirely based on trust. So, compassionate heart, much more happier. So when some problems face, you can face much easier. Extreme self-centered attitude, difficult. So that's, I think, the reason those people who think extreme self-standard is more danger of heart attack. I think it's quite sensible.
Quite true.
Ah,
Quite true.
quite true, like that. Then some scientists even mentioned anger, hatred, fear, actually eating our immune system. It's also true. According to my own sort of little experience, more calm mind, more compassionate mind, the health much better. So I went through, surgery 2 years ago, right? I think 2008, October, I went through surgery. So recover, although that surgery, quite serious. Usually that kind of surgery takes only 15, 20 minutes. But in my case, firstly, the gallbladder enlarged almost 3 times and pus. So the doctor find a lot of complication. So my surgery took 3 hours. But then recover. Within few days, within 5 days, almost fully recover. The doctor, concerned people, concerned doctors and nurses, they really showing me surprising, very rapid. So there's nothing, no healing power. And also I jokingly was telling people, some people have the view that Lama has healing power. So that, since then, I quite often use mentioning. Since that operation, scientifically proved Dalai Lama have no healing power. Is it true? Isn't it? So these are not sort of healing due to healing power, but because my mind is quite peaceful. Even the bad, immediate after the surgery, some pain, always smile. So about, I think, 5 days in the hospital. So later, the doctors, the specialists, they came to see me to say hello, and they told me during my sort of presence in the hospital, everybody has some kind of feeling, joyful feeling. And then some doctor even mentioned to me, after sort of surgery, after our meeting, their whole life changed. See, actually, the specialist, the wife, actually told me, since my husband is taking care of you, then my husband became much more peaceful. So that shows that usually the husband creates some trouble for her. So these things, my own little experience. So there's nothing special, but I deliberately try to keep more compassionate feeling. And whenever I met people, the first reaction is, oh, another human being. That's all. My sort of dealing, whether president or prime minister or king or queen or up to beggar, say, we must look fundamental level. That's, I feel, very important. If we really, think on that basic level, we are human beings, 6 billion human beings' well-being. We, one of them. So then I think many man-made problems, I think, can reduce. Because many of these problems which human created, not a fundamental human level, but secondary level, different faith, different nationality, different color, and these things are secondary. There are differences and make division. And concept of we, small we, based on secondary level. Then we and they. If you go fundamental level, just a big we. All 6 million human beings are part of we. In ancient time, okay, small we, okay. Now today, whether we like it or not, the whole world heavily interdependent. That's a new reality. Global economy, an environmental issue, and many other issues now heavily interdependent. So I think, you see, because of that reality, I think human reaction, something happened in remote area, the response is quite strong. Like a tsunami or a tragedy happened, worldwide response, I think immense. Then recently Haiti, like that. So these, I think in 20th century, early part of 20th century, I don't think that kind of response comes. So the reality itself now telling us we should work together. So we must think fundamental level. Then we entire people are same. And the concept, century-old concept of we, strong we and they, I think that outdated. We must look entire world as just one we. Otherwise, the recent Copenhagen summit, the main reason failure to bring some concrete sort of agreement is the important nations stress importance of their national interest rather than global interest. So generally, I think the world becoming better. The other day, I also mentioned in the NBC television.
Today's show.
That's my fundamental sort of belief. And here also, you see, one sort of, on my experience. In 1996, I had audience the late Queen Mother of England. So since my childhood, I saw her picture and King George VI or something.
George the Fifth. George the Fifth.
I requested one audience, and then she granted an audience. She very nice, quite small, not very tall, quite
Chubby. Chubby.
So then I asked him, asked her, of course, since you observed whole century, because she born, I think, the first year of the century. So at the time when we met, her age also 96. So I asked her, world becoming better or worse or same? And without hesitation, immediately she responded to me, better. Reason, when she was young, no concept of human right or right of self-determination. Nowadays, these become universal. She mentioned that. So it is true. I think generally, through education and also through contact, through real life, I think generally, people's thinking is more open, more sense of brotherhood. There are these things there. So the fundamental level, thinking fundamental level, oneness of entire human being is, I think, very important. So therefore, I always talk sense of global responsibility, sense of universal responsibility. So these are the scientific sort of finding. More compassionate heart really brings the physical health. Then in order to bring happy family, these values are the foundation. Then also I jokingly telling audience, particularly ladies, the lady are very much sort of concerned about their beauty. So spend a lot of money for cosmetic wear. Cosmetic. Or some cosmetic sort of way, there's some blue here. It looks strange. Not necessarily beautiful. So don't angry with me. So these are external beauty. So real beauty is internal beauty. If you want happy marriage and a long-lasting marriage, then you should take care more about inner beauty. A marriage based only external attraction or external beauty, within a few weeks, you may start a quarrel, then divorce. Some of my friends, since my first visit America, 79, and 3 times marriage, divorce, again marriage, divorce, again marriage, divorce. It seems they really, enjoy, maximum enjoy. Then without children, okay. But with children, I think very difficult. Some of my friends, because of divorce, as a child, just one parent, and sometimes deliberately try to communicate with another one. The child suffers a lot, psychologically, even physically, feeding well, sending good school, but emotionally difficult. So therefore, inner beauty is very, very important. Now here I have one story I often is sharing with people. One official, Tibetan government official before 1950, 59, a very good one, very good monk, very good official, monk official, very trusted and very reliable. Then eventually he disrobed in India. Then his wife, not that much attractive. So I tease him, your wife, not that much attractive. Then he responded, yes, external attraction, not that much, but internal beauty is immense. He mentioned that. Then I have no further argument. So, particularly those young female, if you want to be more attractive, then please pay more attention about inner beauty. Then eventually you will find good partner. And similarly, the boy side also, if you really want long-lasting marriage and raise nice children, you should take. That's very important. Then here I want to share with one thing. That is human history. In very, very ancient time, no concept of leadership. All members of the community work together, and whatever they get through hunting or through some roots or through some fruit, they share equally. Then eventually population increasing. So some mischievous people then come. So the concept of leadership come. At that time, no rule of education. So the main sort of quality become leadership, physical strength. Like many animals, the stronger body become leader, like that. So that male dominance start. Then many centuries. Then eventually education developed. So education brought more equal. If both sexes have the equal opportunity, then that brings more equal. Now we are 21st century. Education alone not sufficient. We must have more warm-heartedness. Without sort of compassionate sort of feeling here, education sometimes becoming more destructive. Education alone may bring more trouble, more suffering. So now this is time. We need more attempt, right? More effort to promote warm-heartedness. So under such sort of circumstances or in such sort of period, female, biologically, more potential to bring compassion, affection on this world. Therefore, the female should take more active role regarding promotion of compassionate society. And firstly, in practical level, please, those who are female, please, provide maximum affection to your children. And both parents should spend more time with your children. And children should not consider children as an animal, feeding well and give some pocket money and go that way, not that way. You see, provide maximum affection so that these children not only receive tremendous sort of joyful at that moment, but that imprint in their mind, that remain whole life. So that's very, very important. And particularly the female side should take active role for promoting these basic human values. So last year in Vancouver, some discussion with some Nobel laureate and some other sort of panelists. So again, I mentioned that. And Mary Robinson also there. So then I just expressed, some of you may call me as a feminist. So later, Mary Robinson described me as a feminist Dalai Lama. She mentioned like that. So I really feel, the female, because of the biological factor, and also I mentioned it before, even animal, the female side, more sort of sense of others' pain. If I think a whole world leader take by female, then maybe more safer of this world. I don't know. Of course, it's too early to do that because it's not yet tested. So generally speaking, I feel like that. When we look past history, most of the war heroes are male. And also scientists, they notice one person passing through difficulties or painful experiences, then one male, one female witness. Then the response from the female side much, much stronger. The biological factor, they say. So there's some reason. You see, in any case, I think female should take a more active role for promotion of compassionate society. So our world, our vision, we should have one vision that this century should be century of peace, century of dialogue. Peace does not mean no longer any problem, no longer any differences. Differences bound to happen. Then how to develop peace with flow of conflict, right? Differences. Then the method to solving or to facing these differences, that is dialogue. So previously, when differences there, when different interests, different sort of views there, they're using force. Using force is the concept based on the concept of one side victory, one side defeat. According to today's reality, that's impossible. So everything is interdependent. Like the destruction of Saddam Hussein. Carried that sort of policy on the basis of concept of one side victory, one side defeat. But the reality, much complex. So any violent method, unexpected consequences always happen. So using violence is unrealistic method. Realistic method is through non-violence, through dialogue. So therefore, I always expressing 20th century become like a century of bloodshed. According to some historian, during 20th century, more than 200 million of people killed. And a lot of sort of unhealthy things which we are facing today at the beginning of 21st century. I think traces of previous sort of mistake. So that century becomes century of bloodshed. Now, this century should be century of dialogue. So that should be our goal. Then, for that reason, when we develop certain sort of technique, peaceful resolution, whenever we face some problem, and then using force is no longer relevant. So through that way, eventually we can achieve genuine disarmament on a global level. So in order to carry external disarmament, firstly, we must start now, from now, internal disarmament. That's, as I mentioned earlier, build genuine sense of brotherhood, sisterhood, entire 6 billion human beings. No longer demarcation, we and they, all part of we. That's the way of inner disarmament. So this will not bring by prayer, but through education. So modern education system, you see, we must carry some, because of the serious research work, how to introduce in curriculum,
in education system.
In education system. So here, the secular ethics, secular way is become more important, more crucial, because if the moral ethics based on religion, then in multi-religious community, then what? Next question is what religion? Theistic religion, non-theistic religion. Within theistic, also there are differences. Within non-theistic, also there are differences. So then, so complications there. So without touching religion, simply based on human experience, human common sense, and scientific finding. These are universal. So it is very possible. Education, ethics, based on these secular sort of basis. So there are some movement, some effort already there. Like last year in Canada, from Vancouver, Calgary, then Montreal, so all these three places, serious discussion how to introduce moral ethics, secular basis on education system. And particularly Montreal, the many university in Quebec area, also together, they carry some kind of teachers training, about a few hundred teachers, as how to teach the moral ethics or compassion, these things, without based on religion. So there are people who are really making effort. So hopefully, I think here in New York, big city, if there is some education expert, some serious work, then make some kind of sort of a program, then as an experiment sort of level, some school, say, implement that, and then we'll see. If the result good, significant, then 10 schools, then 100 schools. That can be done. If you see experiment, not that much significant positive result, then forget, no problem. So these things I think really worthwhile. Now, everywhere, people, you see, say peace, peace, non-violence. And everywhere, people are fed up about violence. Now we must do something. Just, you see, complaining and remain without doing nothing. It's wrong. We are human beings. We have this intelligence. And logically, any man-made problem, logically, human beings also have the potential to overcome these things. So that's quite logical. So therefore, there are some problems in even this country, very rich, but some senseless people killing some student or some bully, some unhealthy things. Although I think corruption, I compare like China, I think much cleaner here. But still, now for example, these big companies, they dare to make transparent. Sometimes they something to hide. So the recent economic crisis happened. Out of my curiosity, I asked some of my friends who are businessmen, one Italian. So I asked him, what is the causes of this global economic crisis? And he mentioned to me, greed, speculation. Speculation means without knowing exact, just create some.
Speculation.
Speculation. And then another my friend, actually advisor of many multi-company, actually with his help, we wrote a book
Together.
about ethics in economy or something. So he told me one cause of this global economic crisis is ignorance. So these, without knowing properly out of greed, this is some sort of actions she take that brought disaster. And if things right from the beginning transparent, then may not get this much shock. But till last minute, they say, "Oh, good, nice, nice, nice." So here also, they, due to lack of transparent, unnecessary sort of shocking or sort of difficulties that happen. That's one thing. Yeah. What things? I forget now.
다르죠. 근데 지역이나 대체국도서.
So therefore, so many sort of problems actually, yes, here, the corruption, although I think comparatively, I think better, but still, you see, there are problems in this country. So many of them ultimately related with moral principle, honest, truthful, transparent. So these ultimately related with inner strength, self-confidence, honest there, nothing to hide, transparent, truthful, frank. Then, through this way, we can build healthy society, healthy family. Then furthermore, I want to share with Americans now, since my childhood, we have this sort of image of America, champion of democracy, freedom, liberty. So one time, when you see difficult situation about to come in Tibet, at that time we very much hope or some help from America may come. So then wait, nothing happened. So then one old monk expressed, the America kupshi 때문에 다 다시 저리였어.
This old man said that if
one
monk said that if America had started coming, even by just dragging its butt along the way, by now it should have reached that.
So since childhood, you see, we have the impression America is the liberator, and because it's the champion of freedom, liberty, creativity, these things. So, quite a number of occasions in Washington, when I met some senators and some officials there, I always telling, right from the beginning, I have no sort of particular admiration about the American nuclear weapon, but I admire your principles. Democracy, rule of law, transparent, and freedom of speech, freedom of media, these things. So you must keep these principles, and not only keep in your own country, but must remind the rest of the world, these are basic human value. If nation be successful, human creativity is very essential. Individual creativity is very essential. For that, individual freedom is very, very important. And independent judiciary. My friend, one former president, some scandals, some difficulties. At that time, I looked from the one different angle. Oh, wonderful, America, even president, under law, equal. An Indian Prime Minister also, one former Prime Minister, Narasimha Rao, I don't know what problem, he had to go court. Wonderful. And look at China, impossible. So So we must, and particularly now this period, sometimes some people have the impression authoritarian system is better for economic development. I think that is totally wrong. Short term, maybe yes. Like in India, if you want to make a road, each villager, each farmer, you see, you have to listen their complaint. So road go like that. Whereas authoritarian system, you can go straight. Looks easier for temporary. For long run, the authoritarian system without freedom, that really brings stagnation in all fields. So for their own interest, more open sort of society is very, very essential. So people, actually when I met Obama, your president, at that time, I sort of expressed my admiration about America and about him. During Lincoln, the slave change, abolished. Then Luther King, fight for civil right. Now today, the very president of this country, Black American. Oh, wonderful. Because there is democracy, rule of law. Wonderful. So I just expressed my congratulation. Another reason, when announcement of his election, of course, during election, Obama telephoned me, and then also Hillary also telephoned me. Then John McCain, John McCain, actually, they meet me. So although they didn't ask as a prayer, but in India, usually, you see, I have a lot of sort of, many of these politicians, because now India is my second home. Last 51 years, India is my home. So 2/3 of my life spent in India. Naturally, you see, many friends among Indian politicians. So one politician come, ask me prayer. Another politician, opposite party, come, prayer. So then I say, oh, yes, I pray. But actually, one of them have to lose. So sometimes it's difficult to pray or promise pray for their election. Difficult. So in any way, when the announcement came, I was in South India, Pune. The Gandhian, big international Gandhian meeting taking place. So they invited me. I was also there. So during one session, someone told the gathering, the Obama elected. So all these Gandhian, sometimes old Indian Gandhians, their attitude was West, a little bit
Critical.
A little bit of distance. But then, that moment, everybody stand and then making that.
Clap.
So I very much impressed. Oh, the election of America, the Obama, because Black American. So some kind of sort of impression, positive impression, even reach India. Those a little bit hardliner. So like that. So therefore, I mentioned to Obama. So then I mentioned recently some articles mentioned American economy go this way, the Chinese economy go this way. So eventually America will diminish or something. Then I told, I reminded President, the recent Indian Prime Minister's expression, People's Republic of China, in the economy field, more advanced. India remained behind. But India have other fundamental values: democracy, rule of law, free information, transparent. These things he mentioned. This I think very right. So America, world, particularly America, should not neglect about these basic values. This is very, very important. So in order to bring happy society, these basic values are key factor. So you must